other Prince William podcast, a project of the Prince William Chamber of Commerce. I'm Bob Sweeney, President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. You know, there was a guy over across the pond that's going to be king someday named Prince William. What are we going to be? That's our question here today.
So interesting. Thank you for that. And I am Michelle Davis-Younger, the mayor of the city of Manassas.
Joining us today is the president of TODOS Supermarket and all-around great guy, but more importantly, behind his back, I call him the godfather of Prince William County. He is an amazing man and an amazing person in this community. His name is Carlos Castro.
Thank you. Good morning. Now I sound old.
Carlos, thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited, so excited to hear about your journey as a groundbreaking business owner and leader in our community. So we see you, we know and love all the things you are to the Prince William region, but now our listeners will be able to get a bird's eye view and hear all the wonderful things that make you you.
Wonderful. It's just like my day.
Well, so let's get started, Carlos. Your story is amazing. I've heard it before, and we would love to hear, as an audience, more about your journey from El Salvador. Tell us a little bit about your beginnings, your home base. How did Northern Virginia fit into your plans when you were a young man?
Yes, we grew up in El Salvador, in the capital, and we were like many families over there, very poor, and I always thought that there had to be a better way of living, and I decided to focus in becoming a good student, and my hopes that eventually I could be a professional that somebody wanted to hire, and we did pretty good. We saw some progress, and we were blessed with the fact that my father was a guy that never took a no for an answer, and he was very strict with very strong values, so I was doing very good. I was married, I had a wife and a kid, and the war, we had a civil war going, and it was getting so bad that I had an opportunity to travel to the U.S., unfortunately not regularly like most people do. And I thought to give it a shot so I could put myself in a safe position in the U.S., make some money, feed my family for a couple of years, and then go back, learn English and go back. I love English from third grade up, so I was in love with the language, and that also attracted me. And being here, I encountered an American community, a wonderful country that, with open arms, gave me the opportunity to grow, to succeed. I started cleaning toilets at a restaurant in front of Georgetown University, and in El Salvador, I was able to go to third year in industrial engineering major, but I couldn't finish it because of the war. So I tried to figure out, how can I grow in this beautiful country, while I'm here. And went to Nova, learn English the best way, I didn't have a great English yet. And probably not even now.
Did you go to Annandale campus or out here?
Alexandria.
Oh, Alexandria.
Yeah, great institution.
It is a great institution.
Being on the board, I've been working with the Nova and see it grow.
Do they know? Does Nova know that you went to Nova?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, because that's a real feather in their cap.
Right.
Yeah, but it was not like a career. It was kind of like I actually got into construction because that was my dad's background, and I learned from being a kid with him. And luckily that was actually the key that helped me grow in the U.S. The background in construction, and then learn the American system. So I was able to work with an architectural firm in D.C. We built homes and repair homes, and eventually I became their project manager, and at the end of my tour with them, I created my own company. And I did pretty good. I ran Cleveland Park in DC. You know, I had some very famous customers. You know, from TV shows, from news, politics. So it was really a great time. You know, and then somebody mentioned to me that in Woodbridge there was not a Latino grocery store, and why did I not open one else? And I go like, who told you that I am a grocery store person?
Right.
But I kept it here, you know. I never turned my back to opportunity, you know, and I decided to explore it, and eventually I ended up studying Alexandria, Herndon, Reston, and Woodbridge. And I decided Woodbridge because of the growth of the community. You know, housing was very inexpensive. You could buy a house for $100,000 with a lot of land. Not in Fairfax,
Right.
Yeah, and not here anymore either.
And not anymore, yes. So, you know, I had the blessing that my wife had been very supportive, and I took her out of cleaning houses and put her in charge of the store. You know.
What year was this?
That was 1990.
Wow.
1990. Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Great.
she was making less money running the store than cleaning houses, but she worked, and she worked long hours, and at the end of the first year, I figured that she needed help. And then I had to abandon my construction practice, pushed by one of my customers. He said, Carlos, you do great work, but you're
spending too much time with
too much
many
time,
things.
and then you're not giving the attention that we used to.
Right.
So you have to decide. And then I go, I think you're right. You know, his name is Michael Bechtel. He's a historian. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He's the one that pushed me, the young writer. Then pushed me into like either do that or do this. But
it's great advice.
And I took the plunge. You know?
Right.
And. But my wife couldn't pay me any money, so
I had to work for free.
I had to work for free, and I just couldn't afford that, right?
That's awesome.
I became a tax practitioner, and then I realized that Latinos were not taking opportunity of house ownership, so I became a realtor, and then I was able to make some money. But by the time I was able to do it good, I left the real estate and just kept the practice. We still do it on taxes. And from day one, after we opened, I met Hilda Bark, great supervisor, and she pushed me into you need to join the chamber, and you need to get involved, and good advice, let's do it, And that's actually one of the keys to our success as a company and as a family, because through the chamber, I met so many people. I heard of opportunities. Actually, Marunsko Plaza came out of one of those opportunities that somebody said, hey, do you know who owns Marunsko Plaza? You better talk to him, And so,
great.
Doing volunteer work has always been for my dad. Teaching, he used to say when we were little, whenever somebody needs help, you don't need to be asked for help. You're supposed to jump in, help the people, turn around and leave. Don't even wait for a thank you. Just feel proud of what you're doing, And, it was easy here with so many opportunities. I learned how to speak, in public. It's deal with politicians, deal with business people. For me, coming on a country where, people keep you down and there's no opportunity, you have a glass ceiling, all the time. It's just, the sky is open, the sky is the limit, right? So that's basically,
that's your story.
I was going to say that in a nutshell, but I think I talked a lot. So.
No, it's beautiful.
Fine. But that's good for people who do not know.
Yeah, but serving my company, my community is what makes me proud. I have turned down opening more stores, because then it would put me chasing money, and my community and my family and my employees, which is my family, you know, I would not be able to enjoy them. So it's like, no, 2 stores good. We have more business than that, but you know, I keep my load to the level that I can be comfortable with everything I like to do in life. No, it's not just money.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So you talked about the construction, because you were doing that, and how the customer said you can't do. What do you consider your first failure, like in business? I mean, did you have a point where you went, oh, that did not work well, I need to go?
Yeah.
You know, you talked about the construction thing, but was that sort of it? I mean, you don't really see that as a failure, but is there a failure? Because what we try to do is encourage people that, okay, I tried it, it didn't work. It doesn't mean you can't keep going. You know, of course, that you failed at it or you didn't make the mark. Did you have anything like that you can think of?
You know, I was asked that question, right, Bob, about the forum that we had in Manassas.
Calibrate.
And calibrate, right? And I actually embrace failure because you learn so much.
Right.
You know, and you're challenged to your limit.
Yeah.
You're sinking, but you know you need to get out of that hole.
Yes.
So, you know, it's but to answer your question, you know, like getting into a restaurant business, for instance, you know, and my wife was pregnant, and then, you know, when the cook was not coming, she had to go and make pupusas and cook, you know. So one night we had to go to the hospital to have a checkout for the baby. It was programmed to have a checkout, and she was working in the kitchen. And then we went and the doctor said she needs to deliver today. So it's like by 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, we were having a baby. So when I picked her up from the hospital and she went to bed, and the little one next to her, I said, this is so beautiful. You know, why would I mess it up with more money or another business? And I woke her up and I said, baby, we're closing the restaurant. Her eye went this big, like, what? After all that work?
Yeah, right.
And I said, yeah, you know, I think we don't need it. And actually we didn't. That was the failure, right?
Okay.
It was an idea.
Right.
That I thought it was great. I wanted so bad to have a restaurant, not even thinking about what I was getting into. But somebody wanted to buy it from me, and I had to. When they said, "Don't close it, I'll buy it," and I go like, "Okay, I can get money," and then all this beautiful space is gone.
Yeah.
So I said, "No, I'm not selling." I hacked the wall. It was 12 inches concrete wall in between the two, this restaurant and the store. We were together. The 3 spaces that I took, you know, 1 for the restaurant and 2 for the store. And I worked hard. I mean, I actually did the work because I like demo. I love demolition.
You
work.
Tear down.
I
like building. I like that.
Right. Take the sledgehammer.
So, you know, in 3 months, I recuperated the income that the restaurant was giving me with all that crew.
Where was that first store?
That was, you know, Prince William Plaza too. In where Popeyes is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we were there like 1986. No, 1996. 1995, 96. Yeah, we took 3 spaces, and then the landlord sold the plaza, and he called Miss Hilda Bar, and she said, and he asked her, where can I find a tenant for this big place? It was a big place that used to be a Dark Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago.
That is old.
Yeah, and she said, you have the tenant here. You have, and
already
he said, who? Carlos. Just offer that to him.
Yeah.
He's gonna jump in and take over. So and that way, I had to take another jump, you know. And you know, left the little store and that was 18,000 square feet, you know.
Wow.
From
and now, what do you have now? How big is this store? Like
This is
50,000.
65.
65,000. Wow.
And the other one is 68, you know.
Okay.
So it's really interesting because it's Hispanic culture to have a grocery store, a tax preparer, a real estate company, and a restaurant all together, right?
Yeah.
You go in, you can get everything done you need to get done, but it's created this place where it's your community. That's why I think that people love it, because you're walking in and it's really it's not a Hispanic grocery store. It's a world market, basically.
Yeah, and that's why we changed our name from. I mean, we started with TODOS Hispanic Supermarket.
Yeah.
Then we changed
had
it to TODOS
Yeah.
Market or
Yeah.
TODOS Supermarket, taking the Hispanic word out, and now we're TODOS Neighborhood Market because this store catered to a different community than the Marunsko Plaza store. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's America now.
That's
I mean,
right. That's it. The melting
it's just
pot.
what you have to adapt to
That's
the
right.
new
Right.
model of
And-
supermarket stores.
And the new community, I truly love. I read a report that the county put out the other day that in this community there are 22 different African languages
Yeah.
spoke,
Oh yeah.
and so it's a huge African continent community around Woodbridge area. It's interesting.
And around here, it's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
a
know,
lot.
there's plenty.
a
And then,
lot,
you know, it's
yeah.
the rest of the community.
Yeah.
So you started in 1990. That's when you left the construction industry and started your dream. That's
Yeah.
35. Next year will be your 35th
35th
anniversary. Oh my gosh. Noted. The chamber is starting to go back now and look at all of our
wow.
businesses that are members of the chamber. And one of the things we want to do next year is celebrate your successes
Yeah.
and say, wow, because
That's awesome.
Whitlock Wealth Management, also a Woodbridge company, is 35 years this year.
Oh, wow.
VFN,
Yep,
Vanderpool,
their
Frosted
anniversary.
and
Yep.
Shanian's 30.
Yep.
Other way around, 35 years is Vanderpool this year. And
How about
so,
Compton and Doolin? They have been.
Yeah, 'cause even longer, I think.
Even longer,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Yeah.
they're, well, I don't know, but that's so we are in the process
That's
of
wonderful.
looking
I mean,
at
digging
all
out
our
all the
businesses.
data.
I know. Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we're celebrating on September 21st.
Okay.
We're celebrating our 34th anniversary here.
Okay. Wow.
Noted
Gotta mark-
again. So
noted
that's
again.
so all three of you, VFN,
30s.
are all
the
September
30s.
birthdays
Right.
also. Yeah. So September 26th.
And mine too.
And your personal birthday. And you're 29. So I don't know
That's
how
right.
So tell us a little bit. You talked about that little baby coming home and closing your grocery store down, and she's lying on the bed with your wife, and you're in love and absorbed with the beauty of family.
La la la.
So tell us a little bit about your daughter Gina. How has she gotten involved in the business, and how have you kind of trained her to become literally this great entrepreneur? She's a hard-working woman. I really, really enjoy talking to her.
Yes, you know, daddies have all these experiences, right? And she loved the store when she was a kid because she was 4.
Yes,
you know, when
of course.
she was running around
Yes.
with other kids in the plaza. But growing up, she came to the point that she said, I hate working at this place, you know. Like, really? So I actually had to fire her because she was not measuring up. And I said, you know, you either shape up or you're out. And she didn't shape up, so she was out.
Okay. All right.
Dad.
There's that dad.
And she started looking for work.
Oh
I know
my
she's
God.
gonna hate me for saying this.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then after a couple of months, she come back and she said that
That didn't work.
I need a job.
Yeah.
And I said, you
Well.
know, next door there is the human resources person. Go talk to her.
And
And then,
you did.
really? Yes.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to go through it.
Yeah.
She need to learn.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, right. Your dad would have done
when
the
she
same
get out of
thing.
the office, I call over her $8 just doing a cashier. Man. So I said, so she came back. She said, Dad, she's offering me $8 as a cashier. I was making more money and not being a cashier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's all we have. I won't take it. I'm sorry that that's all we have.
Oh my God, tough
she
love.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It reminds me
Tough
of
love.
your dad, and you
Yeah.
tell great stories about how your dad gave you life lessons throughout
Oh, yeah.
your entire
Absolutely.
life.
That is.
Those are the ones that persevere forever.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she left, a week later she came back. I'll take the job. Just don't talk to me. Talk to human resources.
Right, yeah. It's tough
And
to
of
do
course,
that.
once she started getting
Yeah.
together, and
Yeah.
then it was hard to get her to school. She's kind of like,
Yeah, I'm doing good.
And then one day she said, Dad, so-and-so is making more money than me. And I've been working for you with more time. And I said,
went to school.
I'll show you her file. This is her degree.
Degree, yeah.
You mean to tell me that if I don't go to college, I'll never make more money? You got it, baby.
That's it.
That's
You
it.
figured it out. Ding, ding, ding,
And,
right?
yeah. So would you pay if I go? Yeah, but you have to
Yeah.
work too.
Yeah, yeah.
And actually she did good. She worked and she went to
to school.
college,
Wow.
and I paid her. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you raised
That's
absolutely amazing daughter.
So-
I really do enjoy her, and she's got your gift of community. That's what she
learning,
truly believes.
She's
Yeah,
learning.
yeah.
She's very
Yeah.
shy.
She is.
But after
Yeah,
leadership is brilliant,
Yeah,
it changed
good
a whole
plug,
lot.
Good
It
plug,
changed a whole lot.
LPW, right? That's great. That's awesome. So, what's been challenging in your business journey, like in this whole process? I mean, you mentioned some things, but like, what do you think about when people say what has challenged you the most?
The most difficult part that I find, and I hear that from many executives, is dealing with people problem. The
Okay.
way our society goes.
Yeah.
That there is envy, there is hate, there is other not so good feelings that people it's unhappy about nothing.
Right, right.
And they spread the happiness to
Right,
other people.
right.
So you always kind of like a pastor, like a preacher, kind of like preaching love. And that's probably
The biggest challenge.
my
yeah.
biggest challenge,
Yeah.
because anything
Yeah.
else, if it comes to me and my God and my good people, we can make
You
it.
can do it. Right.
But
right.
overall, I feel very successful in creating a family.
That's important.
Because my managers came from the ground up, the
that's
majority,
great. That is so great.
Some of them have college, some of them have partial college, but my thing is like, I couldn't graduate and I did good.
But
Anybody else can do it,
right,
so
yeah.
I tell them, you don't need to have a bachelor's degree. Is you learn this and that. You want to try it, some people say no, some people take the plunge and they are running the place. And when I go on vacation, one time I was celebrating my 60s in Europe, and I was calling. And Annie said, Annie, right? My VP of operation, she actually took leadership in William. She said, Mr. Castro, you're on vacation. Don't worry, if we need you, we'll call you. And I said, you know what? I'll do just that.
I love it.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's the kind of love that you get back from creating a family.
Yeah. That's what you've done.
The reason you're successful is because I think has nothing to do with your business acumen. It has to do with your love
Heart.
of your other people. When the mayor and I were walking in to do this interview this morning, you're the bigwig. You're walking across the parking lot, and a young lady had just filled up her grocery cart with TODOS groceries.
There he is.
And she's like, "Oh my
Let
gosh,
me help you
let me help you unload your car."
She's like,
It's just what?
Right.
And she was like, "Yes, thank you, sir." But it really
that's
tells
you.
it tells about you. Yeah, it's like a lot of guys just walk right into the grocery store saying, "Thank you for buying all those groceries from me."
Yeah.
You instead decided to give the helping hand and load her car for her.
Yeah.
And I
That's
enjoy
great.
it. So.
Yeah, you can tell. It's like, Carlos, what are you doing? I'm helping this lady with groceries. Yeah.
So to switch gears, from love to politics.
Which we love.
Which we
Well,
love.
of course.
Spoken like a true politician, right?
We know that you are very, very involved in politics. They're incredibly important to you as a human, and you've been involved not only here in Woodbridge, here in Prince William County, here in Northern Virginia, here in the state of Virginia, but you actually are known nationally for your political acumen, I'll say. Tell me, or tell us a little bit more about why it's so important to you and kind of what makes Carlos tick. Why the political bug?
Yes, I grew up on a system where, in El Salvador, of course, where basically you're told what to do. They put the glass ceiling at the height that they want. They herd you around.
It's a great line.
And then you come to a country where politics, well, it's changed a whole lot, but
Yeah.
it
Back in
was
the
so
day.
open, and you had great people managing the country. It's like they opened the doors to you. So Hilda Bart pushed me into politics, and then I realized that with the chamber first, they started the Hispanic Business Council, and they invited me, and then they had all these wonderful plans, and I go like, "What is your goal?" And they said, attract the Latino, the immigrant community. And I said, well, then we need to go back to square one. We need to rethink this, because then I thought they need to hear from me so that they know what we expect. Lori Wheeler was our chair of the Prince William Regional. And in politics, I discovered that our leaders needed to hear from us. And then I am the self-appointed representative of my community, so there I was,
You found your voice. I love that you thought about it that way.
And I find there is a lot of power behind the scenes, and perhaps more important, I had the opportunity to run, and I kind of like mock about it a little bit and try to pretend that I was already in office, and I realized that wasn't for me, because I feel that behind the curtain, there's a lot of power, because you can actually speak with your heart and tell the politician or the candidate, hey, this is where we're hurting, this is where we need help, and, it's private, So, we all like power, right? So I find a lot of power of being behind the scene, citizen, trying to help, and also being objective. Is that a good word?
Yeah.
Objective.
You
and
are.
impartial.
It's
You have
absolutely
to be.
amazing to me that but you don't have to be. But as a
But you choose to,
politician,
right.
you have to be. What I've found is that you, as a non-politician, you sit on my PAC board, on the PAC board of the Chamber of Commerce, and over the past 2 years, I've heard from you maybe at least once a quarter about your concerns, your cares on different politicians, and how and you are. It's not Democratic or Republican. It's people. It's who are the people that are doing this, and what are their moral compasses, and what do they look like that you care about. And so I applaud you for your kind of political acumen. I think you and.
We were right on the BP, remember?
We were right. You're exactly right. And actually, the mayor and I were right. And the mayor and I have a funny side story that cannot be on tape about the BP. So that's really funny.
So what is this about coffee? Venturing into coffee? Is there something you care to share about that?
It's more venturing into people.
Okay.
I was on vacation in my wife's hometown, which is on a hill that is it's a mountain that is like 1,000 feet above ground, about sea level, and used to be a beautiful coffee mecca, like 60 years ago, and it was developed by European. We had in town we have Italian names. My wife comes from, I think it's Palestinian descent, and we have Germans. That's why they changed the name to Berlin. The town is called Berlin, Salvador. And it was a beautiful, very picturesque town. Then we had the Civil War, and they overrun the town because the main military person was from the town, and he was defeating the guerrillas, so they needed to, they ended up killing him, unfortunately. It's very sadly, but I came to that vacation, and I see all these kids coming out of all these mountains, from all over. When I used to do my morning walks, and I go like, Jesus Christ. And then you come in the afternoon and you have all these teenagers playing ball and just doing a lot of things like, where are these kids gonna work?
Right.
What's the future? So I came home with the, with the feeling that I had to do something, and I called my friend who is a retired, she has a doctorate in sociology and psychology, and she's from the town. She's from the German descent. Janet Noltinius. And I called Janet, I saw this picture in Berlin and I don't like it. Is there anything we can do? And she said, let's have lunch, let's talk. And then she lives in Maryland, I live in Woolwich, so we met in Shirlington, half away. And we decided to do a SWOT analysis in the town.
Oh, okay.
And then to discover, what can we do? And we invited the mayor and we invited the people, and they say, well, you're gonna get like 5, 10, 12 people to show up. And I said, okay, and I invited like 70 people, and I got like 68. So, and I had breakfast and lunch for them, and and I told them, because people there are used to people coming and handing out stuff. And I said, if you're here because you think that I am with a sack full of money or goods, you're in the wrong place. Because what I have is a sack full of ideas. I want to help you.
Do something.
Wake up the town, figure out what we can do to create a more a good economy, where we all can have jobs. And it was so good that I only lost one person.
Wow.
After breakfast, he was not interested. And we worked for 3 years. We spent like $60,000 in those 3 years, touring the town, training young people, because at that meeting I met a small group of young people that were kind of like, let's do something. They tried it before me and nobody paid attention. And that's how we ended up, training entrepreneurs and opening their eyes about the community-based tourism, where everybody has a little bit of it, and that was very successful. Everybody asked, what is the police chief, what is the mayor? You don't need them. You are the people that need to be on the meeting.
Doing the work.
And I tell you, they learned so much, and the mayor went and talked to them and said, I have seen your progress, not to me, to the members of the group that we were pushing up. And he said, you're doing an incredible job, way better than we're used to here in town. So you got my support from now on. Anything you need,
That's great.
And they didn't even, the politicians in town, they didn't even let organizations that wanted to help. They wanted to manage the thing their way. And that was the beginning. Then somebody shows up and he said, Carlos, I got these 2 properties, 60 acres of an abandoned coffee farm, a small, a nice house sitting on a cliff. And he gave me like a dynamite price, and I couldn't refuse it,
Wow.
And then I go like, this is gonna be the hostel, this is gonna be the preserve, the nature preserve, and improving on the coffee. And then there was a property on the side of the highway, and I bought it, So we have the 3, and that with the purpose of creating jobs.
Yeah.
But not just any job, because my mission in there, you know what it is?
What is it?
And I tell them that I want to teach you the American way. This is the way we do things there. We're not depending on handouts.
That's great.
We find
Learn.
the power within ourselves,
That's right.
and we accomplish whatever goal we set to accomplish.
That is so great.
So
I'm just.
Greatest podcast ever.
I cannot.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a great
That is
story.
amazing.
So I
Carlos.
have an industrial engineer that I helped her while she was going to school, because one of the town boys they were classmates, so they had those work groups. And I gave them opportunity to create ideas, and things, and gave them some resources, and she graduated, and then she sat at home waiting for a job. Then I called her and I said, do you want a job? So she's running the place, and it's kind of like here. And I keep telling them, look, I'm here, not worrying about my business, because I have great
Good
people.
people. That's right.
I want to be in America,
right.
in Virginia, not worrying about what happened here, because you'll take
You're
care of
taking
it.
care of it.
And it's working so beautiful. I finally was able to find a chef that I found him on a situation he was not doing very good. I gave him the opportunity, and now he's
Flourishing.
the best
Doing
ever
good.
chef.
Just needed a chance.
We have developed a restaurant.
Yeah.
It can seat like 120 people, and that was a they used to raise chickens. I forgot what the name you put to that, but they were very low, so we created a huge crane, and we cut the members and we add them to raise the ceiling one by one. I mean, all of that, the guys are doing it, are learning it. I'm telling them, let's do this, let's do that.
Right.
And I have the other bay, it's 2 big bays. It's the coffee process lab. In there we have activities, and we show them how the coffee grow. We have paintings on the wall of all the stages. Somebody did it by hand. And now I am actually gonna travel. Hopefully, if there are no hurricanes, sometime soon, because we're gonna create a swimming pool area, so that
Nice.
what we have in there is. We call it Eco Park. We're always thinking on ecology, And then there is a giant pendulum where we drop you there from a platform, and we have some games. So it's family thing, and they love it. I mean, you have people. My wife, when she goes, she doesn't want to leave the place, she's sitting there, and then I have other people that come in, and they're coming for 1 hour and they stay the whole day. It's kind of like nature, plants and flowers and coffee trees and cocoa. We added cocoa.
Yeah.
And cocoa is going up in price, so we planted like 2,000 new cocoa trees. So it's more like a natural preserve. And that's, the coffee has the name of my father-in-law. Unfortunately, I couldn't enjoy them because they died
already
at
gone.
70. And her mom also died. So the chocolate patties, it's, my wife's name, and, the coffee, 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 the coffee is my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law is the chocolate. And then my mother said, okay, so Tim, it's selling coffee, and Lola is selling chocolate. What about me? Well, since you're the sweetest one, you're gonna be the honey. So we sell honey with my mom,
Beautiful.
Rosita.
Do you have it here? Do you sell it in this store?
No, we haven't.
Are you
really.
allowed to import? I don't even know if
Yeah,
you are.
yeah. I should bring some.
Yeah, bring some. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's your
That is so
heritage.
cool.
You've got
That's
to.
that's the
so
next
cool.
step.
Yeah.
So that's the process, and I love to teach people. So the guy that does all my work, I'm building things over there
Yeah.
via WhatsApp. Put it
that
closer.
was
Put it
good. As you can see.
So
yeah.
and they enjoy it, and I keep teaching them.
That's what you have to do.
What I
Teach.
have learned here.
I think it's
Not about
fish.
money, but about being a better
Learning.
human being.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
about.
yeah.
I mean, you have deep soul, and I think about your love for community, your love for children, and what you're doing there. Obviously, I just heard for the first time, just like our audience, about what's happening there. But here, in your stores here, you also have a great partnership with the community for serving young people. You want to talk about that for 1 second?
Yes, we just.
I said 1 second, but we have all the time in the world.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought about it. Yeah, my seconds are very long. We just created a classroom right here because we were using the employees' lounge for teaching them, and we're getting busier, so I didn't want the kids to be risking not having a place. So we actually are dedicating some area right here. I'll show you on the way out. And we have created a classroom, and the idea is to teach social skills and business skills and work skills to our youth that have some challenges, and we all do, but it feels so good. Actually, when I went to the closing ceremony, I forgot what
Graduation.
Graduation. Thank you. This year, I was so surprised that one of the kids is the grandchild of one of my first customers. Because they invited family. And I'm, what are you doing here? Oh, he's my grandson. Oh my God!
You had no idea.
And I was going to be the keynote speaker, so it was so easy, talking about them and how I felt that I didn't know who I was helping. I was like,
but
it's even more important, even more rewarding, knowing that it's these people that have supported my store by being a customer, loyal customers, and now there's the kid. They were so proud of the kid. Actually, he's working here. I hired two of them, a young lady and a young man from the program. So we feel proud of doing that part because we, as member of the community, I actually started business school and I didn't like it, so I had to change to engineering. And the one thing I remember from the business school that it stuck with me is that the private enterprise has two major missions, right? One is make money for the corporation, for the owners, and the other one is the social responsibility. And I take that very seriously.
Yeah, so. You do.
So, just to wrap up, if you had any advice to give to a small business owner just getting started, what would that be?
I think what I said in the beginning has been very valuable to me, so I have to say it again. I think get involved, get involved with your community, the people you serve, and they help you so much. And also, it gives the company a better meaning. It's not just money. We're beyond money. So I think then as a proud owner, you feel like you can fly higher.
Yeah, that's great. Get involved.
Wow.
I love it.
That
Love
is
it.
great. And on that note, that's the wrap.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today. We would encourage you to stay connected by following the other Prince William podcasts on your favorite podcast platform listed in the description.
So until next time, be sure to keep supporting local businesses, artists, and entrepreneurs. Thank you, Carlos, so much for joining us today. To all of our listeners, thank you so much for being a part of this journey.
Thank you, Carlos Castro, and take care, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode of the other Prince
Thank
William
you,
podcast.
Bob. Thank you, Major.
Yes,
it was
you
so
are
enjoyable
welcome.
to be here with you all this morning.
This was so great.
Thank you,
so
thank you.
awesome.